Stampers, Diane Dimich here with ddStamps.com, and one of the questions I get asked a lot about is adhesives. And so yesterday I spent some time kind of going over adhesives and trying to see what it's all about, and got some great information. And I have to tell you that after all this time, I learned some things too. And so anyway, I'm going to go over some of the adhesives in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. And every single one of them I use for different reasons, and I'll give you those reasons why. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the two-way glue pen, which the two-way glue pen has a permanent adhesive bond and also a temporary bond. It's nice because it dries quickly. It's great for adhering glitter to something. You can just put a little bit of glue on, sprinkle a little glitter on, it's good to go. It's blue when it's wet and it's clear when it's dry. You get 10 grams in a bottle. It's got a chisel tip on it, so that's kind of like a marker tip. So you can use it, you know, fast or fat or thin. It washes off with soap and water, which is great for kids, and it's also acid-free. So in order to do this, like if you wanted a temporary bond for a stencil or a mask for one of your projects, what you'd need to do is write, like I drew right across this with the two-way glue pen a little bit ago. And it just gives like a post-it note stick to it so that I can lay it down, stick it to a project, stencil or stamp or mask or whatever, and then it will pull off. Now mine probably wasn't nearly quite as dry as it should have been. I did end up with a blob on this end, but this end just did it very well. So that is the temporary bond. The permanent bond is when you put it on wet. And it's, oops, see how I squished down the chisel to make it come out? And then I just made a puddle. But if it's wet like that, that is going to be a permanent bond to whatever I stick this to. It's going to stick when it dries. So that is the two-way glue pen. And like I said, to start it, you push it down on that chisel tip, and then it starts the flow of glue. Just don't do it quite like I did. I got a little carried away. So this was the one that I learned a lot about, was the Anywhere Glue Stick. And I use the Anywhere Glue Stick quite often. It's odorless and it's permanent. You get 2 in a pack. I thought I had a pack out here, but they come 2 in a pack and they're sealed together. You get 20 grams of solid glue in each one. It's a rectangular design, so you can see how easy it would be to get into your corners of your cardstock, making straight lines. I like this glue stick style better than the round ones that you can purchase. These are great when I'm working with kids. In my stamp room, and also it's really economical. It's an economical choice for scrapbooking and for card making, and like I said, I use it a lot when I'm dealing with kids. It's acid-free and it's non-toxic, so if they choose to eat it, it won't hurt them. Now, one of the things that I learned about this adhesive is that you're supposed to store it in a reclosable Ziploc bag. I just learned this yesterday, and this is the reason why. When you have them sitting out on your counter, as you can see, this one has dried out. It's still just a little sticky, but it pulls away and starts to dry out. That's because it's not a very good seal on it. So most glue sticks should be sealed up in a plastic bag, and then they'll stay fresh and able to use. So that was the big tip I learned yesterday. I was pretty excited about that because I've had a little frustration with the glue sticks when I open one up and it is dry. I knew I'd remember the word. Okay, so the next little one I'm going to show you is our mini glue dots Stampin' Up! Carries, and they come on a roll like this, and you get 300. They're super sticky adhesive dots. I just keep this piece of waxy paper to cover them up when I'm not using them. There's no fumes, there's no mess, there's no drying time, nothing. They bond instantly to a variety of materials, so you can use them with paper and fabric and wood and foam and plastic and buttons and all kinds of embellishments. They're easy to use, they're photo safe. You get 300 per pack. That's a lot of mini glue dots. And they're great for attaching embellishments. And so the best way to do this is to take your embellishment, and I just punched out some little paper flowers, and actually stick them directly onto the glue dot. And then when you go to pull it off, it comes off and the adhesive is on the back and it attaches to your project. Now, one of the things that I like to do with these is like googly eyes. If I've got a whole bunch of googly eyes I'm doing for something, I just stick them along on there, or buttons, or even these little flowers. If I'm doing a whole bunch of cards, I just attach a whole bunch. And they're going to stay on there until I pull them off. And I will tell you that when you if you try to pull off a glue dot with your finger or whatnot, it'll stick to your finger, and then it'll stick to your other finger, and then it'll stick to your other finger, and you'll never get it to your project. So it's best to put your embellishment or whatever onto the thing and then pull off to get the adhesive off there. Or if you're using like a little poker, you can pull one off. So anyway, that is the Stampin' Up! Glue dots. Okay, moving on, we have the multi-purpose liquid glue, which I refer to as the green glue just because it comes in a tube that has green lids. And this is a great glue. It's a latex rubber acrylic resin adhesive. That is a mouthful. And it's great because it's got a permanent bond, and it's also got a temporary bond, which I didn't know that. So that's something I just learned. It works great for adhering your cardstock or designer series paper to chipboard or coaster board, or if you're putting boxes together. Anytime I'm putting a project together that I want it to have a permanent bond, but I might want to have a little give to it before I actually put it together like a box, I want to make sure it's lined up straight. I use this because you have a little bit of time to manipulate the piece of cardstock. And that's great. It dries clear. It's excellent. Again, this is great for adhering glitter, especially our heavier glitters, to a project, because you have a lot of where you want to put it, because you have a pen tip on one end. And so you can just do a little line and fill that with glitter, and it works out great. And the other end of this has a chisel tip with a little hole in it. And so if if you want to spread a lot of adhesive, it's probably about a 1/2 inch. So that's a great end on that. Like I said, it's permanent and it's temporary. You just need to let it dry. So like on this piece, again, just like my other piece with the two-way glue, I added a little bit of this glue to this piece of cardstock a few minutes ago. And I can see where it's a little bit heavier of a bond because I put quite a bit on there. But when this dries completely, I will have a temporary bond. So I can put a little bit of that on to a piece of paper and use it as a mask. One of the things that people are doing is taking a little bit of your multi-purpose glue, spreading just a little bit onto your clear stamps, letting it dry, and then your clear stamps will definitely stick to your clear blocks. This is a great alternative for those people who are having some issues keeping those clear stamps onto your blocks. So there's another little tip. Anyway, love this glue. I refer to it as green glue just because it's got green lid. That makes sense to me. Another one this is probably the one I use the most, is my snail adhesive. And I had to laugh about this too because, again, I learned something about this. This was called snail because it's simple, it's neat, it's affordable, and it's inline. That's how you get snail. You get 472 feet, and I know that the refills have changed. It has changed up a little bit. It's blue now, it used to be white. And people think they're not getting as much, but you really are getting just as much as you did before. It's just that now it's on a clear piece. The adhesive is on clear, and we have found that it works better for putting it onto your project, and it doesn't snap. Sometimes people broke them, and then you end up with a bunch of glue in there. So it's not that you get less, it's just that it's on a thinner piece of cellophane. You have a lot of control with this directly to your project, so your hands and your work area never get sticky. When I'm working with my green glue, my hands are always sticky. It's great for cards, it's great for scrapbooks, and it's also great for any other paper crafts or art projects you're doing. It has refills, which I actually did a video on the refills because I had a friend of mine who I've stamped with. Actually, it was her workshop I went to 17 years ago when I became a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I just learned this past year that she didn't know that there were refills for the snail. That's why she never used it. And now I have another video that I actually show how to change it out. It's very simple if you want to go ahead and look at that. But I was really kind of bummed, and that's why I'm starting to do some of these basic classes on some of our basic stuff, because after all this time, it's all up in my head where other people don't know. They don't know it as much information, and so I like to share that with you. Okay, so one of the nice things about snail is it's permanent and it has a strong bond. And the other thing is, the other reason they call it snail adhesive is because you're supposed to roll it slowly like a snail. Who knew? Along your artwork. And so what you want to do is set it down. You're going to put your finger on there's like a grid here, and that finger's going to go on there. You're going to lay it down, and you're going to pull back slowly, and it gets full of adhesive, and then you're going to pull back slowly, and that gets full of adhesive. And usually if I'm doing a piece of paper like this, I might do a little bit here and a little bit here, but that's usually all you need. And then it will attach. Oh sure, and then I use a piece of white paper so you can't see it anyway. It'll attach right onto your cardstock. So you just want to pull slowly. Don't chop, 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 chop. You want to pull slowly and like a snail, and then it will come out of that container. Stampin' Dimensionals, another one of my must-go-to products. I have these all the time. They come in a package like this. You get 3 sheets, and there's 100 in each sheet. I use them for everything. Everything that it's double-sided. It's a double-sided little with foam in the middle to raise some of your projects up. It's 300 a sheet, or 100 a sheet. You can add a little dimension. It's great for layering. It's great for also 3D effects. They're all cut hexagonally inside here so that you use up your whole sheet. When these are all gone, then I just go around and I use a scissor and cut around the edges, and I use every last bit of it. It's awesome. So, and the other thing is once these sheets are empty, these are great for what you're gluing. Like if you're gluing a little small piece and you need some snail, do it on here, and then that adhesive will peel off. And it won't have a mess on your piece of paper or your table. So, Stampin' Dimensionals, can't live without them. Sticky Strip. Sticky Strip is a double-sided strip. We call it red line tape sometimes because it's got red in it. It's pressure sensitive and it's acrylic tape. So what you're doing is that it has, this is a 1/4 inch wide. It has very strong, it's perfect for die cut boxes. It's also perfect for laying down and then sprinkling with glitter if you want your glitter to stick in there and have it be a perfect line. It's beautiful that way, by the way. You get 10 yards a pack, comes in a zipper bag that you should probably keep it in for storage. I don't always, but what I notice is when I don't is I start to get little bits of pieces of paper along my edges. And it doesn't affect the tape, but it just makes it look bad. So again, pop it into a Ziploc bag. It comes in one, so just keep it in that. You want to cut your sticky strip down to your desired length, lay it down, and the most important thing that I can tell you is once this is done on the project, with that top layer on there, really burnish it. Burnish it with your fingernail, burnish it with a bone folder, and then it will peel up easier, and just peel it back. Okay, our last adhesive is washi tape, and I really didn't even think about this until last night when I was getting ready to do this video, and washi tape is a great adhesive. It's also great for embellishments, for paper projects, and for altering journals and such. Each package of washi tape comes with 3 different designs. This happens to be the Halloween washi tape. You get 1 roll of each with 3 different widths. So you get the 1/2 inch roll, the 5/8 inch roll, and the 3/8 inch roll, each one. So you get 3 different widths. And there's 5 yards per roll of washi tape. And so they coordinate with products that are already in the catalog. So this one coordinates with the Halloween Designer Series paper and some of the stamp sets. There's also others. There's the Gingham Garden, there's Epic Day, there's a Christmas one. So anyway, these are washi tape and they're a lot of fun. And they just peel right off pretty easily. And then you tear it and you've got a nice strip of adhesive to apply to your project. Not only will it apply your pictures and your photos to your scrapbook pages, but it will also add a little accent, a little decorative accent. So there you have it. There's everything that you wanted to know, probably even more than you wanted to know about adhesives in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. If you're interested, please sign up for my newsletter. I send out lots of good information, project ideas and whatnot. So enjoy the day, and I hope you learned something. Thank you.